Tonight, we are talking the release date. We've got a potential new director, maybe even a canned spinoff, and maybe a little update on Velocicoaster. I am Brad Jost, and this is Let's Talk Jurassic. Welcome, everybody, to another Let's Talk Jurassic. This is your weekly live stream from the Jurassic Park podcast. Thank you so much to all of our returning viewers out there. So glad to have you back once again for another live stream. If you're new here, welcome. Glad to have you. We like having new people here all the time. And if you're lurking out there, say hello. Be friendly. We'd love to chat with you. But I want to see who's here real quick. We've got Steven here. What's up, Steven? We got Johnny Rays. What's up, Johnny Rays? We got Muzzamil in the house. Jurassic Souls. Nikolai. We got Dave. What's up, Dave? We got Jurassic Raptor. What's up? Awesome. Spino Rex. Dinosaurs and Jurassic World products. Steve's here. What's up, Steve? How you doing? But you know what? Before we get into the episode, let me go ahead and showcase our website real quick, because we had a pretty cool episode, I think, this week. So where is that page? Website promo. Here it is. Let's go over there. All right, so brand new episode out this week. It is not that one. Did I put it? I didn't put it up. I got to post the episode. No, I did post the episode, but I did not post the, well, this is my Spotify, so I did not post the article yet, but you can see it actually right there up in the corner of the screen. It is the second episode of our Dino Score, full deep dive into the Lost World scores. So please go check out that one. It was an awesome episode with myself and Caleb. I also put out a full episode, what's like 10 minutes or so of me talking about some of these topics that we're going to talk about here tonight. So if you want to go check those out, go to JurassicParkPodcast.com and check those out. But you know what? I'm not the only one here tonight. So let's go ahead and bring in the one, the only. Is he ready? We'll see. Aaron Beyer. Welcome to the show, Aaron. Glad to have you back. Your name's correct. It says Aaron under there. I'm excited to have you.
You must have changed that, because I literally was like, Aaron.
Yeah, I everybody that comes into this feed that I have, this program, they're always like, oh, my name's not Aaron, or my name's not Tom, or whoever. So I always have like your two names in there. So
That's good. That's good.
But yeah, actually, since I didn't really talk much about it, but Steve, no, it's only going to be 3 parts. I actually narrowed it down to 3 parts, so not 4 parts. But hey, what's going on? How you doing, dude? Mr. Candor here. What's going on? And yes, love those Lost World percussions. We've got Jason here. What's up, Jason? JP Plastic, March 90. How's it going, everybody? Anyway, Aaron, how are you doing? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm good. Still getting my butt kicked in the Jurassic Park retro collection. The game is, even with rewind function, is just not friendly to me. It's clear why I didn't get into video games until they just became way easier.
Until it was a bit easier to play.
Yeah, until it was like, oh, you don't ever run out of lives. You just die and then come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm good. It was just a weird week. So much Jurassic information.
So much. Yeah, it was wild. So I find this year super funny already, because we've gotten quite a bit of stuff. It feels like a significant departure for me from from 2023, right? Like it feels like 2023 was laid really low. I don't know why. We just got off of Dominion and there was some things here and there, but it laid really, really low. I think the survival thing was at the tail end of 2023, right? That was 2023. So I think so.
Yeah,
it was like late or early December or something. But it feels like, we're ramping up again and we're getting so much news and so many tidbits and things to talk about. So it's odd. And in a time where I just expected us to be like fading into obscurity. Like I felt like the Jurassic fandom and everything was kind of just disappearing, just going away.
There's still time. There's still time, buddy. There's still time for that to happen.
Yeah, I guess you're not wrong there. But we do have a lot to talk about, and I'm excited to get your take. We never really talk about these things beforehand. We just show up and just start talking, and it takes us about a month or so.
Of all the time, like you asked me the other day if I wanted to record, and I was like, yes, I have prepared internet tabs with information on all these topics, and then my computer did a restart. And all my tabs gone. So I'll have to kind of try to remember it off the top of my head.
Don't worry about it, man. So here at the podcast, we've had a rough week too. I mean, I always do my editing and everything on Sunday nights. And this episode's been recorded, the one with Caleb, but I was going to sit down and edit it, put it all together, and then add my parts because I add my intro and outro. And then I hit record. It starts recording. I'm like, okay, cool. The audio's running. And then I start going. I'm like, all right, yeah. So I'm talking about this. I'm talking about that. Blah, blah. This is the intro. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going on for a few minutes. And then I go back and nothing recorded. And I'm like, what happened?
Way to go.
And this happened several times. Nothing recorded several times. And then I realized my computer was just acting up for the night. And I just was like, I'm done. I'm done for tonight. It's not going to work. So I just turned it off, let it go, and started again the next day. Sometimes you just need to restart, But then you lose all your progress.
Reset. Yeah, well, I fear that I might have to reset on that Jurassic Park game for sure. It's so hard. It's so hard.
Yeah, we do plan on talking about it eventually, and it's funny because I asked you and I was like, hey, let's start talking about this game. Let's get an episode running, and neither of us had played it at all, and we're just like, we'll do it. Yeah, we're gonna do this episode, but we gotta play it first.
I think you and I have different visions on how this is gonna go, and I think you and I need to meet in the middle. We need to meet in the middle. On what needs to happen. I have ideas. We'll briefly talk after the stream.
Awesome. All right, so let's go dive into this week's news. So I'm gonna start off here with some Universal Parks discussion. We'll get off of this actually. That was the wrong one, but let's go over to Jurassic World Velocicoaster. Now it doesn't say it on this page for some reason, but if you check on the app, it's been listed as closed for the past few days, and apparently there's an issue with Velocicoaster. It is currently down for an indefinite amount of time, unfortunately. So that can tend to happen with roller coasters a lot of the time. If there's some brake that needs reinstalling or some sort of a lot of times there's these giant cords that end up pulling them for their what do you call it? Their little boosts and stuff here and there. It happens a lot with roller coasters here in New Jersey. It's always happening to King de Ka. There's always some sort of replacement part that needs to be put in. But unfortunately, it looks like it happened to Velocicoaster. Something happened. I don't really know what the full details are, but it's down for a little bit. Hopefully it returns quickly. So if you are planning a trip down to Orlando anytime in the next few days or so, just be warned that there might be no Velocicoaster. That's a bummer. How bummed would you be if you just showed up to the park and then you couldn't get on one of the, major attractions?
I mean, the problem is it's been so long since I've been to Universal that this would be a major draw for me. going down
Yeah.
there right now. Like, to the point where it would almost be like, I don't even know if I'd want to go. Like, I don't know how you cancel a trip to Universal that you made like plans for, but
Yeah.
this would be like, it's not like I go yearly, or twice, not even every couple of years. Like, I don't think I've been to Universal Studios since I left school back in like 2009, maybe. Like, it's been a really long time since I've been down there. So I'd be really bummed. I mean, it's a cool idea that, like, the Raptors got loose and started jacking things up, but
okay, up. All right, I'm glad
I
went.
guess that's the word I went with.
I'm so glad at least that's the one you chose.
Guess that's the
The other ride is very different. Just so we're clear. But this one unfortunately is down for the time being. Keep your eye on the app if you're out there going to the parks, or talk to the front desk, the front gates, and see, hey, what can you do? I planned my trip around this coaster because I'm sure a lot of people do. A lot of people head down there and be like, this is the one thing that I wanted to do. So, but yeah, it's been a long time coming because it's been very, very good. Yeah, and Muzzle Mill kind of backs that up here. Hopefully it gets back to normal, and it's been running nonstop. So yeah, and yes, the the throughput of this ride has been really crazy. You get so many people through there. So anyway,
Universal does have like downtime for rides though. Yeah, where they'll close them for, they're like, hey, this week this ride is offline, and it's not just mechanical stuff. It's refurbishing paint on cars, refurbishing the line and the queue and all that stuff. So, these rides go through annual refurbishments.
Well, yeah, I would say this one's probably a little slightly different just because there was no announcement. Usually they'll say like, hey, the ride's going down in February. Keep your eyes peeled. The early February to mid-February, the ride will be down. They did not say that this time. Jurassic Park, the ride goes down every year in January, late January or early January, somewhere around there. But it goes down because they need to repaint, redo, water-based functions and things. So, but yeah, this one, hopefully it's not too serious, but hopefully it gets back up pretty quick and it's still safe and everything's good to go, because I would be sad if I was there right now. So let's move on to our next piece here. This is probably the big news, one of the big news that's not a word, news pieces of the week, and that is that David Leitch is potentially going to be directing the next Jurassic World movie. So I almost called you Dave because of David. So Aaron, I haven't really gotten your take, I don't think, on the first piece of news, right? That, hey, a new movie's in the works, and David Koepp is going to be writing it. So start there for me. What was your take on that before we actually dive into this David Leitch stuff?
Man, I'm really of two mindsets on this. Like, David Koepp, great, kind of an old school Jurassic writer. But then I look at this news of David Leitch, and I'm just like, David Leitch is not an old school director. So it's like, yeah, I was excited for David Koepp, but also with the idea that, like, what has David Koepp written like recently that was good? I guess I probably should have looked at this like before coming on.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I really loved Dial of Destiny. I know he did that. He's done a bunch of really good stuff recently. There was something at Sundance just when the news broke that he wrote that it was getting some good reviews. So, he's still out there, still working hard, still producing some good stuff. But yeah, I see kind of like where you're going with that, because like, yes, he's not Jurassic Park, Lost World era David Koepp, but can he kind of regain some of that maybe?
Like, I'm looking at his IMDb. I'm only gonna go back to, it's just like, it's just really hit or miss stuff. The last big thing, like you said, was Dial of Destiny, which it's got a 6.6 on IMDb. I feel like that is accurate. Like, I feel like that's a mid movie at best. And then the last thing of like, but like The Mummy from 2017, like that's not good. The
Yeah,
little
this movie
engine that
Presence.
could.
This Presence one was what I heard was pretty good, but yeah, 6.4. So who knows? Yeah, the Mummy's
Yeah.
on there. Inferno. You know, I did not know that he wrote some like. Oh, I guess it's just probably just like a credit. I can't imagine he actually wrote stuff for the Lego Jurassic World video game. So they probably gave him a writing
He
credit.
probably gets a credit. Yeah, he probably gets a credit as like being like one of the original, because they're using his
Yeah.
story, right?
Mhm.
He probably didn't like write things for that game. But it's like if you look at his IMDb, it could not contrast more with David Leitch. Like,
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. Yeah.
These two people are oil and water. You added this to the fact that this movie is being rushed to 2025. And like, look, I don't want to be the character doom and gloom, but like this does not instill confidence in me. Like, I'm really concerned about all of this information together in a pot.
Cancel this guy. Don't talk about my hero like that.
I missed
it. Steve says that in the chat.
Steve, it's okay to have a hero, but like sometimes you got to realize your heroes haven't done anything in 30 years worthy of note. Like, it's okay. Look, I idolize these people too, but
well, here, like, I mean, I don't remember. Like, I've liked the kind of Angels and Demons movies, like whatever you would call those. I think they were fun.
But that seems to me those are like old school adventure films, right? Like those Angels and Demons. Like,
I actually liked the Mummy movie. I didn't love it, but I thought it was fun. Like, and Dial of Destiny, I absolutely loved. Like, it was like my number one movie of last year, mostly because it's Indiana Jones, and that's just one of my absolute favorite things. But I really liked just everything about that movie, so the writing is part of that. But Crystal Skull is a give or take. You know, you can say like I love some of those, hate some of those things, and War of the Worlds is pretty fantastic. Like, so there's really, really great stuff. But we're talking back to 2005 now at this point, so you know, like I said, completely different writer maybe now.
I don't hate this writer as like, I mean, look, not everything's gonna be a winner, right? There is some bangers in here, right? War of the Worlds, like you said. I think Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I think Koepp wrote what he had to write to get this across the board at Lucasfilm. Inferno, old school adventure movie. The Mummy, trying to be an old school adventure movie. Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny, old school adventure movie. Now,
Spider-Man,
like,
amazing.
Where's
right there, 2002. Spider-Man? No, just Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah,
gaining
it's just
some
like,
traction.
This is all kind of like an old school flavor, and I feel like the news on David Koepp alone is like fine, but we got to talk about this director.
Yeah, so the way that you're putting it is they're kind of oil and water in your mind, like, you know, old school versus new school. Because we take a look at David Leitch's, IMDb credits here. You've got a lot of really new stuff, and the first credit being 2014 as a co-director part on John Wick. And then we have Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2. I have not seen Deadpool 2 still. I'm still waiting. And Hobbs and Shaw, you know, that's going to be a very divisive one with a lot of Jurassic fans because of the ever constant crossover discussion, with the Fast and Furious franchise. And Bullet Train. I actually just watched Bullet Train today, and I really love that movie. I thought that was one heck of a good time. And everybody loves John Wick. I feel like I was very hesitant to watch that for a long, long time. But I watched it and I thought it was great. So, but, kind of how you're saying, there's a very distinct style with this director. He's very new and shiny, and there's lots of energy and fighting and, just action and stuff like that feels very different than what David Koepp is doing or has done.
That's the thing. David Koepp is an adventure writer. David Leitch is an action director. And I would argue, and I haven't seen like a good chunk of these movies, but like John Wick is the one that I have the most interest in. and he's not even like it's not like he was a co-director slash uncredited on John Wick, and they loved him so much that they brought him back for any of the other John Wick projects, right? Like, I don't know, man. I got weird feelings about this, and then again, you throw in this. It's gonna be out in like a year.
Well,
Brad,
what
this
about
movie
this?
comes out in it. This movie comes out in a year.
Does this help you? Second unit director on Jurassic World, the New Orleans stuff?
No, it doesn't help me.
No? So
I don't
mostly specifically we're talking about Main Street action,
Yeah,
whatever's
Main
happening
Street
there.
action stuff.
So which was pretty fun and pretty great. I really liked the stuff on Main Street. It was very, frantic and chaotic and fun to watch. So
Yeah, I mean that's the section where we got like my favorite like Pteranodon action card shot, right? Like we got that, we got the
Yeah,
source, but
yeah.
like as I'm playing that whole sequence in my head, you're right. It's just bombastic of like the kids running from Pteranodons, the Mosasaurus coming up and eating people, and just like all this stuff in that sequence. And I'm just like, that was fun for a scene. Man, I don't know. Like, it's almost
Well,
like maybe he should have a co-director in this, someone with a bit more old school
well,
flair, I guess.
this is just going to be really, really interesting. Is if this actually happens, if he is going to be directing this, which it fairly much seems likely, at least. I'm really interested in that contrast between the writing and the directing, and I think it's going to be really fun to at least talk about like what in the world this movie could look like or could be, because we've never had such a distinct style, I feel like, with a director for Jurassic like this that is very not Jurassic. Like this style, even though he directed second unit stuff for Jurassic World, the style that we see in Bullet Train, John Wick, and stuff like that, it's not very Jurassic in its look and its vibe. So it'll be interesting to see how he just makes that transition into something Jurassic. And I know a lot of people are probably worried, maybe you too as well, because of the whole conversation that everybody has really had over the course of the 3 Jurassic World movies. Is there was a lot of conversation about like how movies today have become very like Marvel-ified, like with their comedy and their action and stuff like that. And David Leitch could potentially be just bringing more of that to the franchise instead of the excitement that everybody had by going back to the basics with David Koepp. I don't know if those two things are going to they are clashing, it seems like,
And I would argue that the Marvel style isn't working anymore. Like, it's not working. I mean, for as much as I thought that Dial of Destiny was mid, I still enjoyed it more than any Marvel project I've seen in the last year and a half. Like,
I'm
seriously.
I'm saving Miss Marvel for Friday. I've been wanting to watch that when it was in theaters, but it just didn't come at a good time, so I didn't get to actually see. What is it? Yeah, it's Captain Marvel. No, what is it called? The Marvels. See, I don't even know what it's
Marvels.
called.
Just,
I
guess what I'm saying is
really
I wish
Jurassic.
Jurassic. I wish Jurassic could stand on its own and not feel like it has to be a Marvel movie. And look, I know these Marvel movies, they've got a fast turnaround. But dude, July 2025? What, holy crap.
That is very, 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 very fast. So yeah, they did. That did come up in the article from Deadline. They actually put out 2 articles. One was just about the date, and one was about David. And July 2nd, 2025, they had mentioned, and then literally just almost minutes later, it felt like the social team over at Instagram, at least, and some other sites, posted this graphic, I guess. Really, interestingly, didn't put a ton of time into this graphic, just a date and the circle with the T-Rex head in it.
But that's going to be the entirety of this run now, because look at, dude, we're a year out. We're already in the marketing phase of this movie, and this movie doesn't have a frame of film. So let me ask you this. You saw Bullet Train. I wanted to watch Bullet Train before we even had this conversation, but like, how green screen heavy was Bullet Train? Did it feel like it was just done on a set with green screen?
No, no, not really. I mean, it was mostly just set inside of a train. So, yeah, I guess a lot of it was just sets, but like it didn't feel like sets. It felt like they were in a train. I mean, it's an easy aesthetic to get right and to, to make it feel like it is an actual train moving along. So, I think they did a good job, or he did a good job there. So that was believable. But yeah, I don't know. I'm worried about that as well. And you coming from, that industry where, you have to work on time crunches and, visual stuff. And this is, I think, an interesting time to really talk about this movie, just fast tracking things. We're really in this like time period here where I think we're transitioning a lot of things in the film industry where, we've just invested $250 million into our budget. And we've also, broken the necks of everybody who's worked on the digital side of things and trying to get the CG going because we're moving so fast that they cannot keep up and we're underpaying people. And it's just kind of, and we had all these strikes, obviously. There was tons of strikes setting things off and backwards. So it's a very pivotal time right now. And I feel like this is going to be interesting to at least see what happens here, because are we fast tracking a movie because we didn't have anything else made? As nothing else was ready? Are we trying to have it fill a slot because we need to make money in the summer of 2025? Like, I really want to know what the reasoning is, because it feels like it's not like it feels like it's not a natural reason to have another Jurassic movie to me.
Yeah, let me put some information out here. The people that were on strike were the writers.
Yep.
And the actors. Okay. So what can you do? What can you do to recoup some money? Okay, well we can make a movie based on a format that's proven, right? So let's pick a movie that's got 6 already. And let's pick a franchise that has proven technology. Okay, CG dinosaurs, been doing them for 30 years. Like, we got this. Spielberg and his producers weren't on strike, right? So they could sit and kind of like pick which dinosaurs they want to focus on. Okay, great. 75% of the dinosaurs in this movie already have models, already have rigs. Like, they're good to go. They just need to have animation done, which animators weren't on strike. So maybe they're doing full CG shot like breakouts during the strike. Maybe CG modelers are modeling new dinosaurs. Maybe there's design work going on this movie. That all feels really positive, considering like almost all of my friends from those eras were like jobless. So like, who was working on this stuff? Like, what studios were open to be doing VFX prep work so that once these shots start coming in, and then like, how do you even know what the shots are going to be without a storyboard
no director
artist? Okay, the director, you have to understand, directors these days, dude, they're nothing. Directors are nothing. Marvel directors are nothing. They're cogs in a machine.
I had a feeling you would say that, and a lot of people are wondering the same thing about David here, is if David is just kind of coming in to do what Universal wants him to do, like just make the movie we want you to make and then be done with it. You've got a great style, distinct, bring your vibe, but we have the story.
And I think that is more than likely what's going to happen. I mean, I looked up planning for Jurassic World. Okay, the planning for the film began in 2014, and filming took place between February to November of 2020. Jurassic World was being planned for 4. Wait, no, it came out in 2015.
Yeah, so Jurassic World was basically planned since 2001. Yeah. Like since that. So it had a lot of legs, I feel like, but this does feel just so quick based off of the last film that we got. You know, they marketed it as the last movie ever we'd ever see. We're not going to see any more. And then literally just this quick turnaround, we're getting another one. It just seems pretty wild.
It does, but I think you and I were even saying like, no, it's not the last one. It's the end of an era.
It's
Like
the end of it. Well, and they said that, you know, to be fair, you know, they did say that it was the end of an era, but I just think it seems like it's not an organic. And I know that's kind of the wording that they have used, is that we had this really great script and it is ready, but to me I don't know, it just doesn't feel like sincere, maybe in a way. I don't know. It's just very interesting. I wanted to actually, let's take a look at this real quick because I just brought this up just for the sake of it. Universal's upcoming slate. We've got, you know, they just did Argyle. We've got Kung Fu Panda, which, you know, could make a decent amount of money. I can't imagine number 4 is going to do a huge amount, but you never know. The Fall Guy, which is actually David Leitch directing, looks amazing. It actually looks really, really good. I saw the first trailer for it the other day. And that comes out May 3rd. So that's right around the corner. And that movie looks really great. Despicable Me 4, that could do big numbers. But again, it's number 4 in this franchise. Yeah.
I don't do big money, though.
People love Minions. I don't know. So
those movies are not divisive. Like,
no. I mean, I hate them. But I don't like Minions whatsoever. But, you know, if my kid wanted to go see it, I'd go see it. Whatever. Twisters, this is going to be really interesting because I have almost no faith in Twisters, but I'm one of the biggest fans of the first movie, Twister.
Sure.
So,
Twisters.
Speak No Evil, I would suggest nobody go see that movie. I saw the original one, which was like, I forget what country it was made in, but it is horrifying and just absolutely horrible. Just a movie you should never want to watch in your life. But I watched it for you guys, so I could tell you to not ever look at it. And they're remaking it, which is just monstrous. Wicked, on the other hand, let's skip ahead. I don't know what Wild Robot and Wolfman, you know, I guess I know what that is. But Wicked is going to do big numbers. So they got, you know, semi-decent numbers there for 2024. Megan 2.0 will do okay. I don't know what Dogman is. How to Train Your Dragon, live action. I think that's the live action one. Will probably do pretty big numbers.
Yeah, I feel like that'll do good.
Yeah, Black Phone 2, yeah, so, whatever. And then all you have left is Jurassic and Wicked. So potential big numbers, but who knows? Wicked depends on the first movie, if the first one's going to be good or not.
Yeah, they were looking at their 2025 and going like, we don't have anything.
We don't have anything. Yeah, especially for the summertime. Like Black Phone is going to be okay, and Untitled, you know, Dragon movie is going to be great, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't know. You're not banking on a whole lot. I say the only problem though with this July 2nd movie is the fact that Superman Legacy is coming out a week later. That's not good.
I mean, the thing is, it's like, sounds like the month of Aaron. Those are my two favorite things, Jurassic Park and Superman. But here's the thing. I know.
Yeah, but that's bad news.
I could not care less about this Superman movie. I'm really lukewarm. I think I'm just I'm falling out of love with movies, dude. Like, I just don't care.
Wait a second. I got an idea for you, though. What could get you really, really into this Jurassic movie? Come on, you know it. You know what could be part of this movie.
I mean, Dino Trackers?
Henry Cavill. Look at Henry Cavill.
My man,
he's right there in Argyle. He's right there, part of Universal. Just have that conversation with him during this press, you know, junket. Hey, Henry, what do you think? Would you want to come? And then he's sitting right next to Bryce, who's like, yes, Henry, it's great. You should go into the Jurassic franchise.
Yo,
and then
it's
Henry Cavill versus Henry Cavill 2.0 and for the
I'll be straight up honest with you.
Superman.
I think that and I wanted to take this into this part of this conversation. I think it's suicide not to have Chris Pratt in this movie. Like, I think it is financial suicide not to have Chris Pratt in this movie. Everyone still loves him. He's one of the only likable actors anymore in Hollywood. He just comes off as a genuinely good guy. I think it was Charlie Day, like during like the Mario movie like press junket, was like they were like talking to him about like, you know, how this movie like be so successful. Yeah, he was just straight up like Chris Pratt. He was like, he's like, Chris Pratt's the only one making movies that anyone wants to go see. Now, if we're gonna lose Chris Pratt, I think Henry Cavill is one of the only big actors right now that people would like actively be like, he's in this, I'm gonna go see this.
Dude, if they got Henry Cavill not looking like he did in Argyle, but looking like he did in Mission Impossible, mustache and all, and then just like pumping his fists at some velociraptors because there's going to be a lot of fight scenes, it would be pretty amazing. I'm talking to Universal right now. Get Henry Cavill in this movie, okay?
I just like you just turned me on this movie.
Okay, I was
instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly.
You like it?
I'm into this movie. I'm totally for it. Bring it out in 6 months. Dude, I'm there.
Henry Cavill, directed by David Leitch,
go.
is incredible. I need that movie right now. Yeah. Get some like neon lights behind him, and he's just punching velociraptors. Oh my god! Amazing.
I think that after Chris Pratt, you can't just rely on dinosaurs anymore. Yeah. And Henry Cavill still has a big fantasy adventure following. I mean, it's a crime against humanity what happened with The Witcher. Like, I don't want to. Never mind. I'm not. I got. It's a crime what has happened to that man's career, and I am down. Even if it's a one-off movie, man. Even if this isn't like a trilogy. If this is a standalone. Hey, David Leitch, you're really good at making this movie about this train. We have this Jurassic movie. It's kind of small, but we need it to bring in a ton of money. It's got to have some action. We want to hand you Henry Cavill. That's how I could see this working.
Yeah, you do have
making this a smaller film that you can market as a Jurassic movie. I mean, again, the tech is there, you know?
Yeah, I think Henry Cavill would definitely be somebody to really anchor this on, and somebody that you could bank on maybe some future movies too, you know, being if you want to do a trilogy or whatever. But yeah, I think you at least gotta have some bigger names. Like, they don't have to be shiny Chris Pratt, I don't think, but somebody in there has to really anchor this and give it some weight and give it some heft. I think whoever it is, I don't know, but I really want Henry Cavill in this movie.
Dude, it would be such a big, bold move for Universal to pit Henry Cavill a week before Superman Legacy.
That's what I mean. It would be such brilliant marketing.
If Jurassic was like 1 billion and Superman Legacy was like 300 million, I mean, the SmackDown alone.
It's really what we need. It's the Barbenheimer effect, you know? It's kind of like Henry Cavill versus Henry Cavill 2.0. It would be just like, because he looks exactly like him. It's so funny.
Dude, we've got to do it.
Did we say T-Rex Turner? No, we said Harpoon Harris.
He's Jaws Jackson. No,
or Jaws Jackson.
Jaws Jackson.
Yeah, Jaws Jackson. See, that's where we gotta go. Okay.
Harpoon Harrison's The Rock.
Oh yeah, and hey,
and T-Rex Turner is like what, Liam Neeson maybe?
So here's the thing. I don't think we're that far off, because David Leitch is much known to like continue working with a lot of the same people. So he did Hobbs and Shaw. Hobbs, The Rock. I think our dreams might be coming true. I think they might be coming true here. They may have listened, and that's why they're fast tracking this, is because us and some AI, I think, wrote them the script.
That's right, we did. We did write this script.
We did write this script, yeah.
Where's our writer's credits? We're suing, right? Like,
our name is no. We've changed our name equally to David Koepp. I'm David and you're Koepp.
All right, fair.
Or you could be David and I'll be Koepp. Doesn't matter. Yeah, so I don't know. There's a lot going on with everything we just talked about, but let's continue the conversation here because let's see here. So this popped up just when the David Leitch stuff was announced, and I didn't get a chance to see exactly word for word or hear exactly what was said there. Where's my screen here? But Jeff Sneider, who's kind of it says the in Sneider. He's kind of like an insider, right? With Hollywood, he gets a lot of scoops and news and things like that. So he made mention about David Leitch and talked about like what his role would be in this movie and Legendary's dino-sized mistake following the success of Jurassic World. So I thought that was pretty interesting that there was some behind the scenes, like weird stuff going on with Universal and Legendary. And I at least got this information mostly. I did listen to something that some podcast that he did or something. And then I did see like kind of a write-up about it on Reddit, kind of summarizing what exactly took place. But apparently Legendary had basically said like, hey, we wrote like a spinoff. We got a spinoff for Jurassic World since they were first, involved in Jurassic World, and the movie did really big numbers and everything. So they're like, let's go ahead and just start writing a spinoff, at least the idea. And they presented it to Universal, and Universal kind of got upset about it and was like, how dare you? So that never happened. So it's kind of interesting. What do you think about this idea that a spinoff was brought to Universal's table, and then Universal's like, no, thank you. We do not want this. Why are you doing this right now?
It's a little weird. Like, didn't Legendary like produce or come up with the idea for like? I don't really understand Legendary's role in Jurassic World because it was only that first one.
Well, they are listed as part of the other one too. Are
they? Man, you're really
Fallen Kingdom
for me. You're really breaking up for me. Yeah. But I mean, that's just so weird. Like, I mean, like honestly, like good for Universal throwing away ideas. Like,
good for Universal throwing away ideas.
At least have like some kind of like filter as to how drastically they want to like destroy this franchise. But yeah, I think that's interesting. I also think like, is this part of the thing that you sent me talking about?
that rundown thing, yeah. And there was other stuff in there too that they mentioned about David and the next movie, but this part here about this other movie or this other whatever it was, this other spinoff, I thought was kind of interesting that, and it makes me wonder now, like what was that pitch? Like what do we think Legendary came to the table with? And I like, why did Universal shut it down so much? I don't know.
Yeah, that is super weird. Maybe it was a stay in your lane kind of thing. Like,
yeah,
I don't fully understand what Legendary does. Not gonna lie. Like, I know
just
they
another
make
production company involved in it. It's like, the drill at the sometimes in the beginning of every movie there's just like 14 production companies and you're like, what do any of these people have to do with any of this? But yeah, they were just one of them. I don't know, just the same way that with this David Leitch news, that his production company, I guess, with his wife Kelly McCormick, they have one called 87 North, so they'll be involved in producing this next one.
Can we talk about this actor that you've got listed in this second paragraph?
What's that?
Like Will Smith?
Oh, yeah, I don't think that was much of anything. I think that was just Jeff Sneider saying we need somebody in this movie like Will Smith. I don't know if it was actually like a scoop or anything. But anyway, if you don't know what happened, Jeff Sneider mentioned, this movie needs somebody with Oscar resume style, IMDb page here, and mentioned Will Smith being like the elder statesman of this potential next movie as somebody who like also needs a comeback of his own, and could be somebody that Universal could say like, you are the 4th of July weekend guy, so let's get you in this movie. But I don't know that it's not like a scoop. I think unless he's just saying it out loud and not mentioning it as a scoop, but I don't think it is. I think it's just like, hey, this would be cool. Kind of like
Henry Cavill in this thing. He will sell tickets.
Yeah.
Like straight up. Like
yeah.
the guy sells tickets, man. And like he's just a big nerd.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill would come on this podcast.
We need him painting dinosaur toys like in his spare time,
What can we do to get a campaign going? To be like, hey Henry, like, we need some photos of you playing with dinosaur toys or something.
Let me just email him. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all it takes, right?
So other than our hopes for Henry Cavill and Jeff Sneider's hope for Will Smith, that would be interesting, man. Like I don't know, but and Dave, Jeff did mention that David was kind of somebody brought in to just do their vision as well. So that was part of that. But yeah, I think the heft of the story was the fact that like Legendary pitched this story, but turned out to just get thrown in the trash, whatever it was. So I just want to sift through the trash back in 2015 and wonder what that story was.
I think it would be a perfect opportunity for them to do a small movie with a new character. But again, I still think it's kind of financial suicide not to have Chris Pratt. But like you're saying, if you could pull in someone who has draw like that, and the only thing, like honestly, the only person I can think of that has draw like that is Henry Cavill. Like I think The Rock is starting to cool. I think people are cooling on The Rock.
Well, The Rock's going to do an A24 movie sometime soon. So his stock's going to go back up, I feel like, as long as whatever it is going to do well. But A24 flicks are usually pretty highly praised. So,
but he's also doing live action Moana. So,
Yeah, but he's going to be beat out by animated Moana 2. So that's coming out first. Did you see that? That was just, again, that's kind of like what we're talking here with this movie is they say like, oh, we don't have anything on our schedule. There's an opening at the end of the year. And guess what? Moana 2, we didn't tell anybody about this until right now. And it's like, why are they fast tracking all this stuff? And where's it coming from? Like where?
Well, but look at Moana.
What is happening?
Look, not that we're not living in the freaking world of sequels and spin-offs, but like Moana, it's another, we have the Moana model. Like all the look dev for how the characters look and how the world look, that's done.
Yeah.
So just make assets now that fit in the Moana world. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. Whatever.
They probably pitched the Dino Human hybrids Legendary.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't say that it would have been like something that bad that Universal would have been like, this is terrible. Why'd you do this? I feel like you were kind of right where like you overstepped your boundary there and just kind of like, you shouldn't have done this kind of thing. Like, this is our realm. How dare you make this? That's kind of weird. But I do wonder what it could have been. So 2015, what could it have been? What could it have been, like a Camp Cretaceous? Did like something like that? Like, could it have been, because the dinosaurs didn't escape at that point. They were still on the island. What would it have been? A spinoff at that point.
A DeWanda Wise movie, strong female
but
black
all
character,
the way,
like.
But back then in 2015, she wouldn't have been a part of it, and like, but I just don't know what the story would have been back then.
Oh, 2015, yeah.
Yeah, when the movie first came out. So
I mean, I don't know. Based on Fallen Kingdom, maybe they should have gone with the legendary pitch.
Nah, man, I love Fallen Kingdom. Get out of here.
The Lost World remake. Yeah, that's good.
I love the Lost World, so.
Yeah, I love the Lost World. There's no argument there.
But yeah, so this is a whole can of worms at least. So we've got a new movie, like a year and a half away, basically. No director on the project as we speak, at least. So as far as we know, a good script, no cast, but maybe some work done behind the scenes. They would have had to been working on this since the end of Dominion. Like, were they working on this in tandem? Is this, there was a lot of rumors, and I don't know if you remember or heard about it or not. I forget if we talked about it, but there was like somebody who came in and like judged the script for Dominion and apparently like didn't like much of any of it. And a lot of people are wondering if like Universal has kind of had their day with the Jurassic World version of this franchise and said, like, you know what, let's move on. And they brought in David Koepp, maybe to critique that script back then, and liked his ideas, and maybe they had conversations about it. Maybe he started writing back in I don't know, sometime during the pandemic or something, and this script's been in a good place for quite a while. They could have been working on this in tandem with the release of Jurassic World Dominion. And I don't know.
That they're sick. I don't believe they're sick of the Jurassic World version of this. Jurassic Park doesn't bring in $1 billion a movie,
but
Jurassic World brings in $1 billion.
I fully am on board with what you're saying. Like, I don't
you understand,
think
these people don't care about any of this. They care about money, which is why, like I'm saying, I think it's financial suicide to not have Chris Pratt. The only end goal is money. Look at why they're fast tracking it, because they're not going to make any money in 2025. Damn it, Brad! Don't you understand?
Oh, I understand. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to look at this from Universal's perspective, and like right now they don't have anything. They've got nothing going on. They've got a few great looking animated things that are, well, not great, but things that will bring in some decent money, and a bunch of unknowns. They got really just a bunch of unknowns and some movies that'll probably make like 150 million. And Fast and Furious is in kind of like a holding pattern right now. It seems like there's a lot of issues behind the scenes with that movie and the next, the upcoming ones and stuff. And who even knows what's going to happen with that franchise? And it's not on the timetable. It's not out there. They should have followed. They should have followed that up pretty quickly with a sequel, saying like, we're going to make another one right away. But that movie franchise went downhill.
Players for that were on strike.
The actors and stuff. But
I feel like a Jurassic film. You can have all this work going on, like, hey, we want it to take place here. We want this set piece and this set piece. Whereas I feel like with Fast and Furious, it's like you have to have writers in a room. And unfortunately, it's like the writers and the actors on those movies are kind of like simpatico.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, we can't do anything. We can't plan Fast and Furious. We can't talk about Fast and Furious. Like, they all have their hands tied.
I wonder, because this was the last one that just came out was really like a cliffhanger of a movie. So I can't imagine they haven't already been writing this next part, just to leave it on a cliffhanger like that. So I imagine there was probably a lot of it, at least outlined and maybe written. But it just feels like there's a lot of issues behind the scenes with that one and some things that they need to really iron out. And like I said, the budget on that last one was huge and they didn't really make a lot of money. So they really probably started from scratch with that one too. And I don't know. As far as leaving the Jurassic World branding behind, I mean, if you're not bringing back anyone or not continuing the story in that way, what are you doing? Like, why? What does it matter at that point? you know?
I don't think the Jurassic World branding is going anywhere. I really don't. Like,
Well,
it
if
still sells
that's the
toys. It makes
case,
$1 billion a movie. I just don't think it's going anywhere.
if that's the case, why this then? Why why no Jurassic World logo?
Because
Why just this?
their Jurassic World Dominion poster didn't say Jurassic World. Like,
Yeah,
it was just
so
this logo.
we talked about it back then of them potentially leaning into just Jurassic as a brand, right? Um,
Yeah, but
I
you
don't
still
know.
it has to be Jurassic something.
Does it?
Yeah, what else would it gonna be? Something
You
something
know,
a Jurassic World movie, I guess.
a
Like,
a Jurassic story. Yeah, yeah, like the Han Solo thing.
so
Um,
Universal bought the rights to Jurassic Park. Then they trademarked the Jurassic World. Now they're just going to reduce it to Jurassic. It just seems like, how do you trademark Jurassic? I
yeah, I don't know. No,
That's
you
so
don't.
weird to me.
It's just the logo. The logo is what you. I think they have tried to just trademark Jurassic, maybe,
They're not
the
going to put this
logo
in
itself,
theaters. They're not going to put this in It's not going to
just
be.
World.
It's not going to be like, logo starring Henry Cavill. Like, it's not. It's not going to
Yeah,
be.
I mean that's what they did with the last one. You just said it yourself. So
Yeah, but it was still
what?
called Jurassic World Dominion. Like, it still had
Yeah,
a name.
it still had a name.
It's something to put
Um,
in the archives.
yeah, but they are leaving behind everything else. Like, so if you're leaving behind the cast and the storyline, and going into a different direction with a new era, you're not restarting the franchise. You're just continuing, but in a different direction. Do you go Jurassic Legacy? Like, pit that right against Superman Legacy with Henry Cavill and whatever the other guy's name is.
No, stop,
Jura-
stop, stop. I do like Jurassic Dave 93. It's just World now.
It's just World now. Yeah,
They're gonna trademark World.
World, just World.
Just World.
Yeah, I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see what happens when they leave it all behind and start fresh, and potentially with David Leitch and his production company and David Koepp writing and whatever else is going on behind the scenes there. I have no idea, but I'm at a point right now where I'm just really excited to see what happens, and I love this stage. It's just trying to figure it all out, and just can't wait for the updates whenever they pop on the internet, and it's really exciting.
Yeah.
At least, and I think I'm always extra hopeful about these things, and I'm always like excited about the potential because I end up liking them most of the time anyway. I really have no problem with any of the things they've released other than the
Sure.
motion comics, but outside of that, I'm like, everything's pretty cool, cool with me. So whatever they want to do, I'm fine with, and I think I'm just excited to see how it turns out. So I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt and say, whatever vibe they're shooting for, whatever script it looks like, I'm excited.
You know how Universal could like really stick it to us is if Henry Cavill's backstory is that he was like the helicopter pilot in the motion comics, and making those like affirming that those are canon. I don't know.
Who was that? What was that character? Who were they? Do they have names? I forget.
Who cares? Who cares? Well, Universal cares.
I feel like I need to like look that up now.
Are you typing?
Yeah, I was. How about he's this
Oh,
guy
okay.
that was like surfing in the first one? Could he be like this guy that's like, whoa? Oh, that's him right there, Henry Cavill.
Yeah, 1,000%.
That looks just like. Wait, where's the she was part of it. Oh, wait, then there was this guy. Oh, is that Henry Cavill? Could that be him?
Yeah, maybe.
Could that
Sure.
be him?
Wow, just like. Oh.
Yeah, we're
those
running out of
exist.
ideas here. But
exist.
anyway, that was fun, man. I'm excited to just chat about it and to to try to get our Henry Cavill ideas out there. But yeah, thank you, man, for joining me and talking about this
Hey,
for a
thanks
little
for
bit
having
tonight.
me.
We'll have to do it again soon, as soon as there's some more news. So I'm sure there will be, hopefully sometime soon. But for now, where can people find you? Can they find you at all? Are you
No, don't
findable?
bother. I mean, I'm on Instagram at the Aaron D Beyer, but like I don't do anything over there.
You don't do anything, guys.
I was using that as like kind of like to promote my artwork and stuff, and then I got some jobs, and now I don't need to promote my artwork. I got professional artwork that I have to do, so I wish I could tell you what I was working on. I can't. I will say, this Triceratops and this InGen truck from Mattel.
Oh yeah,
they're baller, dude. Look how big that Triceratops is compared to that truck.
I still haven't ordered that Triceratops. I have that truck though. I still haven't opened.
Dude, that Triceratops is awesome, man. You should.
It looks pretty great. I meant to get it at one point, but I forgot. And sorry to everybody in the chat. I really tried to get some of the stuff in there, but I know there was a lot of conversation that I skipped over. Shout out to early on for Jurassic Souls for the super chat. Now that we have an idea of a director for the new Jurassic, what's something you'd really enjoy seeing? So, to leave us here, what's one last idea that you would like to see?
Well, and I mean this I mean this in all earnest. I always have loved trains. It's actually like really surprising that I haven't seen Bullet Train, but I think train sequences and movies are really, really cool.
Oh yeah.
And I think it was a travesty that we didn't get like a monorail attack in the Jurassic World movie. I know we got the cartoon, whatever. But I would love for them to be like,
yeah, man. Oh.
Like, Dave, could you do a train sequence?
Dude, imagine that for Fallen Kingdom. Like, there was one spot where they found themselves out in the middle of nowhere, and the only way they could get back was via monorail. But half the track was out, and they were getting attacked by dinosaurs, and that would have been an amazing sequence.
I had this like thing written up when I was like in school, and it was like for a short film. I actually tried getting it like made because I was going to Dave's school, which was at Universal Studios. But like, I was like, oh, it'd be so cool because the sets are like right back there. We can like we can go use the Jurassic Park lot at night and like shoot some stuff. I just think it would be really cool that like one of the fastest ways to get animals around the island is this train that they had built. And the train was kind of this like multi-purpose. It was like the Disneyland train, but like at night for business, they used it to like actually like truck animals around the island. And I had like this whole thing kind of like written up that like, it was a train. They were moving like Herrerasaurs, like something kind of smaller or whatever. But like they were moving like Herrerasaurs, and it was like going through the valleys and the mountains, like with like all this mist, and like they got out of their cages, and like people were like, I don't know, doing train stuff, like train action stuff.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing just ends with like this train just like derailing into this giant like lake or whatever in this massive explosion. I mean, it was like a 3-minute short or whatever, but yeah, something. Give me a train sequence. David Leitch clearly awesome. Like knows what he's doing with trains. So
dinosaur train. That show is an animated show. You should check it out. It's probably on Disney or something like that.
I'm all right. I'm good.
Dinosaur Train.
I'm all right. You keep doing you.
No, I like that idea. I think that would be really cool, especially like in a world where dinosaurs are out in the wild. Having Henry Cavill,
right?
Henry Cavill like works for the company that gets the dinosaurs on the train and transports them to the DFW or something like that. That could be a really cool
thing is like
story.
You're not gonna like most creatives don't want to like do their same exact thing. So I can't imagine that they were like, hey David, like you made a train movie. How would you like to make a train movie?
How about Train Movie Part 2?
Yeah, I just don't see that happening. So, but I would love it. I would love an action piece that took place on a train. I think train action pieces are cool.
They are. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool ones out there. I'm thinking like James Bond had some. What else?
James Bond, Uncharted, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Oh yeah. See, look at this. You got them all.
I feel like there was recently. Like I think they're cool.
They are cool. But yeah, I still kind of with what Muzzlemil's saying here, compies in a cabin. I just want that like Velociraptor story where they're just like, you know, getting attacked in the woods and they can't really get out of their secluded village or something like that, or maybe it's not a village, maybe it's a research outpost, and you know, on the outskirts of this outpost is a bunch of raptors in the woods and they can't get through their one passable, you know, route.
Yeah, I guess I would have been a little more. I think I would have been a little bit more hot on this news if the director they had hired was not necessarily an action director, but more of like a horror director, because I do feel like Jurassic has been missing the horror aspects.
Sure.
Really, the last 3 films, like 4 films.
Yeah. Well, I mean, David does a lot of things that are not horror, but like brutal at least. So
okay,
it might translate. Hey, it could translate, you know.
I'll take some brutal.
Yeah. Yeah. Snowpiercer train goes through Jurassic World.
Sure, why not?
Jason here says a new Jurassic trilogy, a prequel to Jurassic Park, a betweenquel to Jurassic World, and a continuation of Dominion in a post-apocalyptic I can't talk right now. Apocalyptic future where dinosaurs outnumber human survivors. A slasher movie with dinosaurs.
I'm personally just not into the prequel stuff. I think everyone knows that. And then I don't. Do we need another post-apocalyptic franchise? Like,
yeah, especially with the Apes one coming back. You know.
Yeah, like we have another Planet of the Apes coming. We've got the Hunger Games. Seems like it's kind of like maybe a thing again. I don't know.
Aaron, you got a question here. Since Aaron's here, I'm watching this. You're watching this on your Vision Pro? Any movies you should try out in 3D? How do we look in a Vision Pro? Can you like screenshot it or take a video of us talking right now and make it an ad for Apple? Hey, Apple, you're watching the Jurassic Park podcast. This is the one place you could come to watch it. You can only watch us in Vision Pros.
I think so. I think that now I can only speak to the ones that like I've worked on, which are all like conversions. I think the Jurassic movies were comfortable. 1, 4, and 5. We didn't work on 6. I don't know if Jaws 3D is available. Not Jaws in 3D, but like Jaws, the 3D release from like 2 years ago. If you want something that's just incredibly deep, like you really want to see the 3D, Thor Ragnarok is extremely deep. And what's the robot movie where they fight the kaiju?
Pacific Rim.
That's also Pacific Rim is also a really deep 3D movie.
We look huge, at least. That's good to know.
Yeah, I mean,
we look like Henry Cavill.
Although Pacific Rim is kind of an older one, I don't know if like. I mean, I wasn't at the pinnacle of my 3D artistic abilities at Pacific Rim. I don't want to speak for the rest of the team, but that was not my height. I think Star Trek Into Darkness has some cool moments in 3D, especially in that red vine forest. There's some cool stuff in there. The Marvel movies are relatively like all enjoyable. They do vary in depth. I would say like from between Thor 1 and Thor Ragnarok, they get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Where Thor Ragnarok is like this pinnacle of how deep something is, and then they kind of came back to a more comfortable depth, in my opinion.
I think the last one I saw before the second Avatar was probably Avengers Infinity War. I think I saw that maybe I saw Endgame in 3D. I don't remember, but I remember like Infinity War just looking really great in 3D.
I mean, of course, like in Infinity War and Endgame, where like everyone was nitpicking every little aspect of those movies. I will say, like Avatar 1, that movie, I recently watched that movie in 3D, and that movie is not fully in 3D. It's a lot of like cheap tricks and it's one of the originals, so like it's gonna have some weirdness to it. I personally would not consider Avatar a 3D movie.
Oh wow.
It's a movie with some 3D effects.
Now, everybody, guess what? We have a surprise guest, James Cameron. Everybody, let's welcome him into the chat. You want to?
I'll fight James Cameron. I'll fight James Cameron for sure. Bring him on.
Clip that. Put that in Apple Vision Pro, and yeah.
I'll fight James Cameron.
Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for watching this. Please check us out on Threads, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all those places. Listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, Audible, Amazon Music, and also
everywhere.
Yeah, Podomatic, our host, Podomatic. You can listen straight on there. And yeah, please go check out this week's episode. But there's actually 2 episodes: the David Leitch news, and then episode 370, Dino Score, the music of the Jurassic Park franchise. We're talking about the Lost World. We did. Does it say it right there? We did 16 tracks from like, I don't even know. It was like from track 6 to, later on. And then it was, where did we end? We ended at like, the Camp Jurassic or whatever it was. But yeah, it was a really fun episode, and there's some good stuff in there. So definitely check that one out. And while you're at it, check out my other show, Grim Grinning Hosts, where we talk about theme parks and pop culture and other fun stuff like that. So that's it, everybody. Check me out on Threads, TikTok, YouTube. But that's about it. Thanks, Aaron.
Hey, thanks, JP Plastic. That Train Lake idea is actually awesome, though. That's right. Peace out.
Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
See ya.